Welcome back to Dreamin' Dragons. Today, we're putting a line in the sand. We need answers. Hurts a little. Must remind myself. Short-term pain, long-term gain. Sounds dramatic, but work with me here. Last year, one of my favorite fruits of the season, Edgar's Baby, widely considered a self-sterile variety, had half a dozen cracking fruits. But towards the end of the season, we had a flower open and I had no pollen to cross it with, so gave him a red hot dust with some of its own and hoped for the best. A few weeks later, to my surprise, we enjoyed a smaller but real fruit. My thoughts at the time were, oh yes, another self-fertile variety. Love a good tasting self-fertile variety, but here's where we draw that dragon fruity line in the sand. For me, dusting a variety with its own pollen and miraculously ending up with a fruit doesn't cut it, particularly as someone that sells and gifts the odd cutting here and there. So today we're getting our hands dirty, our paintbrushes dusty, and getting to the bottom of the fertility of our Edgar's Baby. Conveniently, we have two flowers opening right next to each other. Let's compare the pair. One pollinated with its own pollen, the other with another variety's. The afternoon's creeping into evening, our flower's starting to open, time to secure a bag over our control flower, minimizing the chance it can accidentally become cross-pollinated by ants, bugs, bees, wasps, etc. Time to kick back for a little bit? Nearly time for bed, time for action! Let's uncover our flower. Try not to expose it too much. Want to minimize the risk of any cheeky pollinators sneaking in. Quick pollen collection and get that pollination done. Secure your bag, and I whack the date on and that I've used its own pollen to keep track. For comparison's sake, I'll coat its twin with some Halley's Comet pollen. Date and pollen source it up, and time to play the waiting game. You can probably get away with leaving the bag on for about 24 hours, but I like to be absolutely certain and keep it on for about 3 or 4. Safety first. Moment of truth. A few days later, let's come back and check the damage. You can see here that clean, crisp line on our cross-pollinated Edgar's Baby, looking the goods. Now for our self-pollinated pup. Yellow, wobbly, no good. I could drag this one on for longer if I wanted, but the proof's in the pudding. Self-fertility, highly unlikely. To be absolutely certain, I'd prefer doing this twice, but really don't want to waste another good fruit. So, pretty content in saying that last year's surprise fruit was probably contaminated and cross-pollinated by a stray bee or local pollinator. Cheers, fellas. Keep up the top work. And speaking of top jobs, would be awfully tops if you hit that like button and subscribed if you haven't already for all your dragon fruity goodness. Oh yes.